Alrighty, guys, welcome back. I am glad I didn't wait. There actually was a pretty significant gap between Game 1 and Game 2. Hopefully, Fakes took the time to make some adjustments because Game 1, as you just saw, was a one-sided affair. UD gave Fakes both sides of his hand, not even 20 turns, didn't even reveal all his pokes. Very heavily favored for UD. It's turn 1, and I already think I know Fakes' team. I've seen him use this before. I've seen him default to it. I think this is the team that Osgood created, that Triangles used last year. I think the last pokes for him, I think this is that all-in on Lax team. I think it's the Umbreon, the Celebi, the Donphan, the Lax. I think it's that team, and we're going to find out. Hey, there's the Donphan. Turn 1. I believe I just called exactly what Fakes is using. The question is UD aware of this information as well? He led for a second time with Celebi. Of note, T-Tar got burnt, but it is a Pursuit Tar. Donphan here, despite the fact that the Pursuit Tar might have Ice Beam, HP Grass, whatever it is, and Donphan has really bad special defense, it should nevertheless be safe here and be able to threaten him out with Earthquake if that's what he wants to do. Instead, he goes to Lax. If this is the team that I think it is, then this is an all-in on Lax team. It has Magneton, Umbreon, and Celebi as the last three pokes, and it is Curse, EQ, Body Slam, or Return, whichever one you prefer, and Rest on the Lax. Very predictable for Fakes. He likes this team. He's used it many times. It's something he defaults to as a tried and true. We'll see if it gets the job done here, but I highly suspect that UD already is well aware of what he's up against. Maybe not with this response. I don't know. Foray into the Lax is sketchy here. If I'm Fakes, I might just sit in there and curse up. I don't know. I mean, even in the hypothetical scenario where Foray here goes Spikes and then Lax goes Curse and then Foray goes Boom, I don't know. It wouldn't do that much to Lax. I think he'd be okay. I don't even think a Dugtrio follow-up would be good enough. There we go. There's the Gengar. I'm not sure what he was baiting there. Was he trying to fish for like an Earthquake or a Boom or something there? Maybe he doesn't know what he's playing against, but he does make a nice little double switch here to get the Umbreon to come in, which was obviously trying to get the Gar. And a nice little Toxic play there for UD as well. So a good sequence, a good double switch, and a good Toxic as well, because he was setting that whole thing up to bait the Moltres, which he did do successfully, but he's going to miss. All that being said, again, I suspect UD maybe doesn't know the team as well as I do then, or as well as I thought that he would, because I don't think that Toxic actually matters, because the Celebi that Fakes has in the back has Heal Bell and can just get rid of that status effect. So it's Heal Bell Celebi, and it's Magneton in the back. If UD doesn't know what he's up against, that's going to make this a little bit trickier. I'm really truly surprised that he doesn't recognize this team. I think it's very well known at this point. So we'll see. Moltres seems like a difficult poke for UD. Nothing really wants to take Will-O-Wisp except for the one natural cure poke, which is Celebi. There we go. There we go. Here's the highlight. Now UD gets it. Forgot the Celebi has Heal Bell, he says. Now he's realizing what he's up against. I'm surprised he didn't earlier, but better late than never. He knows the team, and he knows what he's up against. Oh, come on, Fakes. Trying to sell it. Who says I got a Celebi? Do you remotely think that we don't know this team? You are not fooling anybody. I literally, on turn 1, knew what he was playing. I've got it on video that I was right for the first time in my life. And that feels pretty good. But yeah, the Moltres here is pretty difficult, I would say. The only poke that doesn't mind the Will-O-Wisp is the Natural Cure Celebi, which obviously, Celebi v Moltres. Moltres obviously beats Celebi very, very badly in that 1v1 matchup, so Natural Cure not so relevant in that case. They're both taking time off their clock here, figuring out what they want to do. We know that it's a Pursuit Tar, and Moltres will live it pending a crit, as we saw with the previous damage roll. But he's not going to be in good shape, and he can't live it for too long. Now, this Moltres set, unless Fakes changed it, does not have HP Grass. It is actually... Oh, that's going to do a lot. There's a rock slide from UD, and the only reason that didn't kill is because he's burnt. But yeah, this is a sunny day will-o-wisp flamethrower morning sunset. Does not have hidden power grass and cannot effectively go on the offensive against the T-Tar here. This team should be very, very predictable. UD should know exactly what Fakes' options are here, and that's got to be an advantage for UD, right? When Fakes does not know what UD has, but UD should know pretty much down to the exact move, pretty much down to the exact EV, or damn close to it, what he's up against. Morning Sun and Rock Slide again. I'm not sure where he thinks he's going with this. He can't even burn stall him out because he doesn't have enough Morning Suns. There's only 8 base PP on that. So, and the other thing is that the Sun is going to go away in a couple turns. But even if it were Perma Sun, that's not going to be enough. He can't burn stall him. I guess he could Morning Sun 2 more times and then go for the Flamethrower. I don't know that that's enough either. So I'm really, truly unsure here where Fakes think this is going to go. I guess he's trying to play the prediction game. I guess he's trying to get a bad pursuit turn, or he's trying to sneak it out on a rock slide turn, but so far this Moltres is not gaining any ground. A little bit of burn damage is starting to pile up, but the T-Tar is still perfectly safe here, and UD is going to snipe him out perfectly. Going to call him on the pursuit turn, makes the exactly right play. UD makes every single turn in sequence correct there, and Fakes loses the Moltres. Full team now revealed for UD. Fakes, as far as I'm concerned, has had his full team revealed since turn 1. And I don't know, I mean, he told me that he was prepping and practicing, but this certainly does not appear that way. This is him just recycling an old team that we've seen him use a million times. This is not something that he's been building or brewing up all week. This is just a copy-paste of something he's used however many times before. Seems like the same old Fakes to me. UD here is going to come in with Salamence, going to find itself against Umbreon. We see now that it's Wishmance. That's the very first move that it's used all game. I'm not overly surprised by that. Typically on these Steelix Mence squads, it is a Wishmance. That is a well-known combo that's been around for a little while. I do think that Fakes has a chance here, but what makes it a little bit tricky, as is the case with any of these teams that are all in on any win condition, whether it's Lax or Kuhn or whatever, in this case Lax, there's a lot of resistance for that on the other side. First of all, the Gengar has to get removed, or the Lax can't touch it at all. So Fakes needs to set up a sequence where Umbreon eats Gengar. UD is very, very aware of this information, and is going to make that very, very difficult for Fakes to do. That's step 1. The other thing is that Umbreon doesn't even, if he does get it in, if he predicts exactly when the Gar comes in, doesn't even kill it on a switch out with Pursuit. So Fakes would have to do it multiple times to get it to work. That's the first problem. The second problem is that there's a Leech Seed and at least 2 Booms from the Fori. Actually, maybe the Fori doesn't have Boom. But the Steelix is going to have Boom. The Gengar may or may not have Boom. And then there's a Leech Seed. So there's multiple Booms and a Leech Seed on the other side. Fori may not have it, because if it has Rapid Spin, which, I mean, of course it does, right? So it's going to be Spike, Spin. We've seen Toxic. I mean, it could be Last Move Boom, but it, like, basically has to have Earthquake, right? Or it just gets boned by Magneton. So I guess the Fori actually probably doesn't have Boom. But nevertheless, I mean, Steelix is going to have it. Gengar may or may not have it. And then there's a Leech Seed from the Celebi. So there is a lot of Lax resistance on UD's team. I mean, once Lax gets rolling, that particular set of Lax in general, it's very, very tough to stop that set of Lax after a few Curse Boosts. It can always win. You can always get there with that set. But it's a really uphill battle for Fakes. This series has really been all UD. He came to play. He's playing well. He's making double, triple switches and such, as he used to do. Fakes, on the other hand, isn't playing badly per se, but I'm not wowed by any means, and this certainly is not what I was hoping to see from Fakes. I was hoping to see a glimmer of Fakes of old. I was hoping that, him telling me, I'm prepping, I'm caring, I'm practicing, all that actually meant something, and it doesn't seem that way. This seems like him just, game one didn't go his way, defaulting to an old team in the next game, and I mean, yeah, the whole series has really just been one-sided. Maybe UD is just that good, but it really feels like Fakes is not at 100% right now by any means. He's playing it out, and like I said, with that lax, it is winnable, but a very uphill battle for sure. Has to remove the Gengar to have any chance, and then has to figure out how to maneuver around the booms, has to figure out how to beat Leech Seed. This seems like a bad matchup for Fakes, to be fair. I think UD has played really well, probably played better, so definitely credit to UD. But I also feel that this matchup is pretty tough for Fakes. He's got an all-in on Lax team against a team that's pretty well set up against Snorlax, I would say. There's Toxic landing on Umbreon, keeping in mind that Umbreon is not able to synchronize that over to the Steel-type Fortress, so it's just a pure Toxic, which is good. There's a double spike, and Lax is going to begin cursing up. This is a good scenario for Fakes. The problem here is that the Gengar could just come in and wall it. Fakes could potentially call that and get the Umbreon in, but I don't even know how good that is. Umbreon's at 57%. It's poison, and there's 3 layers of spikes down. So really, I mean, does Umbreon even really truly beat Gengar at this point? I don't know that it does. By all means, this looks to me like Fakes is in a lot of trouble. This is really looking like a one-sided affair. UD dominated Game 1 and seems to be similarly dominating Game 2. There is Hidden Power, which is the best thing Celebi can do. This looks pretty over to me. Fakes is not forfeiting, which, I mean, I guess counts for something, but this really looks like a one-sided spanking. There's the Donphan going down. Here's Umbreon coming in on 3 layers of spikes and still poison. I'm seeing the GGs. They must be ahead of us in real time, but man, I mean, this wasn't close. Look at that pursuit damage. 26% is what that's going to do. Gengar at more than half health. I mean, this is, whew, there's the concession. This very well may have finished in a 6-0 had they played this out. An absolutely one-sided affair. UD all over Fakes. Fakes simply looked outclassed start to end in this set. Game 1, sub 20 turns. UD doesn't even show his full team. Game 2, I mean, bad matchup for Fakes, but that is not enough of an excuse for the way this ended up. UD played better. Fakes brought a predictable team, and Fakes got absolutely rolled. He even says down here by his own accord that he got dominated, and it is hard to argue with that. This set was all UD. So he's going to be in the upper bracket, and Fakes is going to fall down to the lower bracket. Even though this was not the most competitive series of the tour, hopefully you guys had fun watching it anyway. Please do give me a thumbs up if you did. And I will see you guys for the next set.